Surprisingly, I think Overwatch is actually in a very good state right now. However, I have one really big concern that I feel actually might become the downfall of Overwatch, and it's something that almost every other game with characters tends to fall into, and it's when the game developers start adding heroes just for the sake of adding them. And
Yep, we're moving on from that as the worst thing I've ever heard.
So the entire reason
like that, I hate to be that dude, but that just seems like making just talking just to make content, and it's like, dude, I understand season 3 is a little bit boring and there's not a whole lot to talk about right now, but that's also why I haven't made many opinion pieces, because there's nothing to really talk about. Game feels like mostly balanced. There's a few like outliers, but like other than that, it's just kind of boring. We need more content. That's it. It's kind of a little bit slow right now. Like adding heroes to add heroes. Hello? Of course, that's the point of the game. You should be adding more heroes. What? I'm sorry, that my brain is gonna fry.
So the entire reason why you'll see me in like my last clip, for example, where I'm just like, I'm constantly swinging even though there's nothing happening around me, it's a good habit to get into when you're playing as Brigitte or Reinhardt, because of
I do this all the time on Ryan. I don't know if it's the best for Brig though. I'm not against it, but for Ryan it makes sense. I'm not gonna get one-tapped. Brig, you can get one-tapped.
reasons, okay? First of all, for some context, if any of you didn't know, the hitbox of your mace, and this works the same way for Reinhardt as well for his hammer.
Mace is much faster though, as well, than swings.
You can actually hit people on the sides of the screen and not just the cursor. So like, for example, if I go to this training bot, obviously if I point right at him, I hit him. But if I look to the side, okay, like I'm not even looking at him, and I'm hitting him. I'm still hitting him, even though he's not, my cursor's not even nowhere near lined up with him. Same thing for the other side, of course, too. So your hitbox is actually a lot bigger than...
It's much bigger on Ryan, but on Brig it doesn't make as much sense. I have a bad habit and keep doing it when I do that when I play Brig. Mostly out of habit, but I always do it if there's a ratty Sombra lurking. I mean, I do it on Ryan all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody walk past me. Like, I was either AFK not paying attention, reading chat, a tracer blinked by me, just like something that I just didn't account for, and just because I was swinging, I got a free hit in. I've had it happen many times. But on Brig, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. Okay, next.
I really thought Overwatch players had some of the strongest mental, but it looks like I was completely wrong. Recently, it seems that they'll leave the game over the most minor inconvenience. Other team had a really good offensive payload push. Let's leave the game. No point in even trying. Their teammates not living up to their extremely high standards, and they refused to walk out of spawn. Good thing that the player that refused to play was only your tank. My point is, if you queue for comp, play the whole game out. Prove that you've got that strong mental. Because the way I see it, people who've played Pop Tropica have a stronger mental than the majority of Overwatch players.
Wait, what's
right
Pop
now. So stop
Tropica?
ditching your teammates and play the game through. I really...
Yeah, there's levers in every game, man. I get it. It's ass, but that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna leave in the beginning so we can have a fifth. Wait, what? That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna leave in the beginning so we can have a fifth. But the game ends. Does you mean just... You talking about quick play? Bro, do people actually get mad if people leave their quick play games? Oh my god. Had a match where everyone on the enemy team quit and abandoned their mercy. We coaxed her out of spawn and hug it out until the match ended. Well, after the first like 2 or 3, after like, what is it, like 2 minutes, you can leave the game unpenaltied. Like you just take the L and just move on. So like, why wouldn't you, I guess? You know what I mean? Like, why sit there? There used to be a, okay, there was a reason. In Overwatch 1, there was a bug where if you left the game when it let you like leave, you took a bigger loss, like you lost more points than you would unless you just like let the game play out and lose. So people wouldn't leave, they'd sit there and wait out the game. But that was a long time ago. That bug's been long fixed. So guess what? A lot of people don't play comp. Yeah, guess what? 5 guys, 1 tuba. If somebody leaves your f***ing quick play game, who cares? There's 1 backfill. 2, it's supposed to be quick play. It's for fun. There's no stakes. If you're talking about ranked, there's nobody who's going to fill in. That's going to obviously put you at a disadvantage, and you lose your competitive rating. You literally lose this much for losing a quick play game. This much.
Instead of reacting to your Overwatch hot takes, you're going to react to some of mine. Heroes like Widowmaker and Hanzo should be able to one-shot. Overall, Overwatch is super balanced right now. Despite what I just said, the current meta is one of the most toxic and unfun metas to play against. Ranked means absolutely nothing, and push is kind of fun.
That was a lot to break down there. Yeah, Widow without one-shot would probably be kind of ass, to be honest with you, but it still doesn't make it any less of a problem. I wish there wasn't as many sounds in that, because that just kind of made it tough to listen to. But the meta's good. It's actually not bad. It's ball comps or Rhine comps a lot of places with some Sigma comps. It's actually pretty diverse, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then what was the other one?
Toxic. Despite what I just said, is super balanced right now.
Yeah, the game's balanced. So the game's balanced, that means there's other comps that can be played. Like, it's not just one comp.
Despite what I just said, the current meta is one of the most...
So then how is the meta toxic? If the game's balanced and you can play lots of stuff, how is the meta toxic? That don't make no sense. Let's see comments. Rose said push is fun. I actually don't mind push as much anymore, to be honest. And actually, that was my original prediction when Overwatch 2 came out, is that over time, people were going to kind of start to like push. But they hated it at first because it was getting jammed down our throats. And it felt like every other game you played was push. And once that stopped, people were going to enjoy it more.
So many people ask what I do for aim training. So if this video doesn't get a lot of views, you guys are all fake and I'm going to block all of you. First things first, get the idea of a perfect sensitivity out of your brain completely. That is true. BS, doesn't exist. Any good aim.
There is a range though. Like, you shouldn't go over like 8 or 10,000 EDPI, which is your DPI of your mouse multiplied by your sensitivity. Anything above that, you're getting to the point where it's like really, really high and hard to control. Also, it's very quiet, so I will try to be quiet and only pause.
Good aimer will be able to play on any reasonable sensitivity and still do really well. The reason they can do well is because they understand how to move their mouse. If you need to play on an extremely specific sensitivity to hit your shots, then you suck.
That's yes and no. Like, if you change games, like there's websites called Sensitivity Converter where you would want to change you convert your sensitivity using one game to another so it's still comfortable. I wouldn't say, like, let's say you play at like EDPI 3500, then you jump to another game and play at 5500. If you can't do that, you're ass. Like, that's just kind of wild.
I know it's really cool and satisfying to see these cracked players hop on an aim trainer and get these really large, fast flicks on targets and kill them, and switch to other targets really fast and kill those too. Or when someone like Tens kills like 1,000,000 targets on grid shot at a super fast speed. But I'm telling you right now, if you go on an aim trainer and do that, that will get you nowhere. What you need to do is similar to working out in real life to build muscle. You need to do exercises that are progressively more difficult, that will actually frustrate you enough to where you tell your brain that something needs to change. At the end of the day, our aim is a function of our mouse control, and that's the ability to physically exert control over our mouse to move it in a way we want.
Actually, what he said there was actually kind of important. Whether you agree or disagree with the aim trainer thing, doing exercises that frustrate you is very important. There's been times where I try to learn a new character or learn something new on stream, and it frustrates the absolute f*** out of me because I'm clearly not good at it. And the way you get good at something is by practicing it. And people are like coming to chat and they're trying to backseat you and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're doing here or whatever. Like, you could do this better or you should be doing that. And it's like, no, like, first off, you don't know what the f*** you're talking about. Second off, if you do even have an idea what you're talking about, you have no idea how hard it is to do what you're saying. I need to work towards that thing, right? And so it takes time, it takes effort. And there's a lot of people out there who do not want to go through the effort. They just want the result.
So what you really need to do is go into the Voltaic or Rivasect Discord servers and go into their resources channel and play their fundamental routines. First, you want to play
is this an ad?
Scenarios to see where you stack up. But honestly, even if you think you have good aim, you will probably need to start on the beginner routines. That's just how it is. These scenarios will humble you, but that's a good thing. It just highlights how much more room you have to grow. And also, don't go in under the misconception that aim training a lot will make you a god at your game. Being good at a game is a lot more than aim. Aim is just a big part of it, especially in first-person shooters. What an aim trainer allows us to do is practice specific things we know we're weak at with a huge amount of reps so that we are forced to learn. What I personally do is I do the voltaic fundamental routines. I kind of focus more on tracking because that's more enjoyable for me, but I recommend doing all of it to build a holistic sense of mouse control.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, respect for giving out really in-detailed advice like that. Too much work, we'll install legit files instead. I can't hear what you mean, sensitivity as a Ryan main. Real. Base aiming video I've seen on TikTok. I'm an Overwatch coach, and this is 100% true. The very first tip is the best tip ever. I've seen some people thinking and improving their controls will improve themselves. True. Actually true. Fundamentals can be done on AimLabs, Kovacs. AimLabs is free, by the way, so no excuses. Okay, you know what? That's actually pretty decent.
Here's one tip for every rank in Overwatch 2. Bronze. Turn on your monitor. You're the only reason you're down here. Silver. Every mouse has a specific number called DPI, dots per inch. If you multiply this number by your in-game sense, you get your eDPI. Your eDPI should never be above 8,000, and never below.
Get out. You're not paying rent. Get the fuck out of my head, bro.
Below 2,000. Gold. This is the rank where you have to understand every hero and how their abilities interact with each other. For instance, you have to know not to dive Ana when she has sleep dart. Simple stuff, but a majority of gold players don't think about it. Platinum. Start ult tracking. What does that mean? It's been 3 fights, the Rhine hasn't shattered yet. What's he gonna do this fight? Plan and position accordingly. Diamond. Play your life. Give ticks. Let the point flip. Who cares? Stay alive, win the game. Masters. Target focus. If your teammate's shooting at somebody, drop your ego and shoot at them as well.
What do you mean? Masters players have nothing but ego. They don't drop their ego.
Master. If you made it up here, you're good at one of 3 things. Communication, game sense, or mechanics. If you want to go
Oh, this is a true Overwatch enjoyer. That's a Surefour quote.
any further, focus on your weaknesses instead of your strengths.
That is a very famous Surefour quote.
Out of top 500 since season 23 of Overwatch 1. I've been through every rank, seen it all. I have 10,000 hours of in-game time, and this is what I think is the most important for every rank. What do you guys think of my list? Agree? Disagree? Have a question? Let me know. Here's one.
Said Jane. Jane probably said it too, but I think Jane got it from Surefour. Surefour said you gotta get 1 of those to get to GM, 2 to get to top 500, 3 to be a pro. One question, how do I turn on my monitor? My eDPI is 12K and I'm diamond. That's probably why you're stuck in diamond, to be fair. My monitor will turn on, what do I do? Just warn. Here's a tip. That'll help every rank. Losing games, get off and play when your mental/games are better. Yeah, but if you can't work on your mental, then your games are always gonna suck. Been GM since the beginning of the game. Every role currently, this list is account great, especially the diamond one. True, real.